Today we're going to do some review on vector and parametric equations, including graphing and eliminating the parameter, as well as writing parametric and vector equations given 2 points. So if these problems look familiar to you, you can go ahead and pause the video and try them and then jump back in and see if you got them right. If they aren't familiar, you can follow along with me. We have 2 points here. We're going to call the first point point A, and we're going to call the second point point B. And the first thing we need is we need vector AB. So the first thing we are going to do is subtract the x's, -4 minus 3. And then we are going to subtract the y's. Remember, we're doing B minus A. Whoops. That should be a 5. Okay, so that is our vector AB. So now our vector equation is going to be xy equals point A plus the vector AB times t. And our parametric equations, we're just going to kind of grab the x's. We're going to have 3 minus 7t. We're going to have y equals, then we have 5. And then 4t. So these are our vector and our parametric equations. So if you needed to pause the video, why don't you unpause it and try number 2. So number 2, here we have A and here we have B. And vector AB is going to be 6 minus 7, -8 minus 1. And then we have xy equals A plus, now we're going to separate it, just the x's, 7 minus t, and then just the y's. Okay, number 3 is asking us to eliminate the parameter. So we have 2 different eliminate the parameters. One we are going to use substitution, and the other one we're going to use elimination. So I've got this squared here, and that tells me that I'm going to use substitution. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and now I have t equals x divided by 4. So now I'm going to take x divided by 4 and put it in place of t. I'm going to square everything. And I end up with y equals 1/16 x squared plus 6. And the type of function this is quadratic. Now for number 4, I know that I'm not going to use substitution because there's no squared. Everything is kind of nicely lined up here. I have x's, I have t's, I have constants, or variables, I should say. So I see this is a 4 and a 3, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap. I'm going to multiply the top equation by 3 and the bottom by 4, and that will give me 12t and 12t. But I really want one of them to be negative, so I'm going to multiply the bottom one times -4. So here we go. 3 times x, 3 times 4t, 3 times 1. Then we've got -4 times y, -4 times 3t, and -4 times -2. Now I'm going to add down. Ooh, that's not low. And I got 3x minus 4y. The t's subtract off equals 9. And I know that this is a linear function. Okay, let's take a look at the answers to last night's homework. You can look over those if you need to. Okay. So number 1 on page 13 says graph the following parametric equation. Create an XY table where t can be any values. Now I notice that it says here that t should be between -2 and 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number my table from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And because this is like kind of a lot of arithmetic to do, I am going to grab my calculator, if I can find it. Okay, so we've got our calculator up here now, and what I noticed is that my calculator is in regular rectangular form. So everybody go ahead on your calculator and hit mode, and we are going to go down and we are going to put it in parametric mode. Now you don't really need it for this one, but I'm going to put it also in degree mode so that when I do some trig problems later, it'll be in the right mode. So again, we're going to go to mode, and we want to be in degree parametric. Then we're going to go to y equals. And we'll see for the first time we have an x equals and a y equals. So for x equals, I'm going to type 1 minus 2. And then the t button is, remember, going to be the same as the x button because that's our independent variable button. And you'll notice that these equals are not lit up yet. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the y value, the y equation. And as soon as I start typing, it's going to light up. -t plus 2. Now, I'm going to go to my table, second graph, and I'm going to arrow up to -2. Let me make sure this is stay on top mode. View. Okie dokie. And now I'm just going to recopy these values. 5, 4, 3, 3, 1, 2, -1, 1, -3, 0, and -5, -1. And I want to remember that this is where I'm starting, and then I'm kind of going down the table, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're done with you. So here we go. We're going to graph, we're not going to graph -2, we're actually going to graph 5, 4. So we're going to graph 5, 4. And then when we graph 3, 3, I missed. That was not 5, 4. That was 4, 4. 5, 4. I'm going to connect them, and I'm going to put an arrow to show that it's that the graph is moving in this direction. And then I've got 1, 2, -1, 1. -3, 1, -5, -1. So here is my graph. Okay, so now it says at the bottom to eliminate the parameter and state the function family type. So what I'm going to do is I don't know what that is down there. I'm going to rewrite this equation so that it's 2 minus t, and I'm going to write it underneath. And what I see is they're both negative, and I need one of them to be positive. So I'm going to multiply the y equation by a negative. I'm actually going to multiply it by -2. Then we have x equals 1 minus 2t, and we have -2y equals -4 plus 2t. So now when we add down, and we can see that this is linear, we should probably solve it for y. Let's subtract the x. We continue up here. We have -2x equals, or sorry, -2y equals -x minus 3. Divide everything by -2. And we have y equals 1/2 x plus 3/2. Okay, at this point you are going to start work on, I think is there one more page? Yes, we have two more problems to eliminate the parameter and identify the type of function. I really recommend you pause the video at this point, try them on your own, and then jump back in. Alright, so number 7, we've got a squared one, so we know it's going to be quadratic. I'm going to divide both sides here by 2. I've got t equals x over 2. And I'm going to grab that and drop it here. Two times x squared over 4 becomes 2x squared over 4, or just 1/2 x squared. So here we have a quadratic. For number 8, I'm going to take my y, I'm going to write it underneath. It's kind of nice. Everything is going to line up. And I notice that they're both positive t's, so I'm going to make the bottom one negative. Like, scratch out this 8. This I'm going to multiply by 5. This I'm going to multiply by negative 2. So I have 5x equals 10t minus 30. 5. And then we have negative 2y equals negative 10t minus 6. When we add down, the t's cancel out. This becomes a negative 41. I'm going to solve for y. Whoops, that's an x. I get negative 2y equals negative 5x minus 41. Divide by negative 2. We've got y equals 5 halves x plus 41 halves. And this is linear. Okay, at this point, you should go ahead and start the homework. Page 15. I'm going to do a couple problems selected, and then the answers are posted. Okay, so I'm going to do one graph. Let's see, which ones are we doing? I'm not going to do number 5 because I'd rather do number 9. I'm not going to pause it because that messed me up last time. These are pretty straightforward. Let's just do the one quadratic graph. Alright, so number 9, let's write down our equations here because we're going from negative 3 to 3, and it's x equals 3 minus t squared, and y equals 2t. Okay, so we're doing number 9. Get back my calculator because this is a lot of arithmetic and I don't know that I'm in the mood. Alright, so I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear these out. 3 minus t squared. And then this is going to be 2t. And I'm going from negative 3 to 3, so I'm actually going to go to my table. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to go to my table. I'm actually just going to pick that table up and bring it in here. Don't be jealous of those skills. You should pause the video so that you can write them down. Okay, and I only need negative 3 to 3, like to here. I don't need to do this. Okay, so we've got, oh, this is terrible. All right, there's 0, 0. So we've got negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Negative 6. There's our first point. We've got negative 1, negative 4. And again, I want to connect as I go and draw the motion. Then we've got 2, negative 2. I have a square here, so I'm expecting some kind of parabola. 3, 0. 2, 2. Negative 1. Where's at the middle? Yes, negative 1, 4. And negative 6, 6. The rest of them are pretty similar to what we did in the lesson. The answers are posted on Google Drive.